What's up, guys? I'm your host, Cody Brockway, with my wonderful girlfriend and co-host, Tara O'Reilly.
Hi.
Woohoo! We got the Tara in the house! Woo! So we came up with this idea to talk about some of the most beautiful and brilliant album covers. I'd say these are probably our favorite album covers, right? So we've got, I've got 11 albums because I couldn't narrow it down. She's got 10.
Yeah, I stuck to the rules.
Oh, yeah. So she's going to start us off today with one of her absolute favorite album covers and what it means to her.
Yeah. So when you're into vinyl and stuff,
Yeah.
it's a little ritual, as Jimmy Page said, and the art is so important in that, which is something we're losing nowadays, unfortunately. But it's nice to go back and look at these gorgeous interactive experiences that bands created. So I'm going to start off with a very iconic one, actually, which is Thick as a Brick, because they made it into an actual newspaper.
And that is the reissue.
That is the pinnacle of interactive experience, and they made it look like an actual, this is what the English newspapers look like. With all the ads and everything in there, and they added in all their little innuendos and funny stuff, and it's just, it adds to the experience so much, and it's just pure genius, and I absolutely adore stuff like this.
And there's actually a music review for that album in there too.
Yeah, they knew how to have a bit of a laugh, didn't they?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so my pick, and none of these are ranked, okay? You can't possibly rank album covers. I mean, that's just, how are you going to rank an album cover,
Absolutely no way.
So we didn't do that. We just pulled out the ones that came to mind for us and the ones that mean a lot to us. They don't even have to be our favorite albums, but just the cover is just brilliant. And so I got Aoxomoxoa from the Grateful Dead from 1968. This is, of course, the reissue. This is actually on blue vinyl. I'll show you that in a second. But this cover, there's so much. When you're listening to this, there's so much to unpack in this cover.
Mm-hmm.
And, you got the little penis there with you got these things. I don't know. Well, what would you possibly call these, Tara? Well, keep it PG, folks. Keep it PG. But basically, in the little vagina, a tree grows out of them. And this cover is identical on both sides. I don't remember what you would call that, but it's like
a mirrored effect.
Yes, it sort of is, but yeah. And so the cover is absolutely identical on both sides, and this is just a brilliant cover.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Anthem of the Sun is a nice cover too, but this one is just fantastic. And you got a picture of the band with some kids, it's like families and stuff. I don't know why kids would be around the Grateful Dead at this time, but knowing some of the stuff that they perhaps got up to. This is a limited edition, blue vinyl. Only 1,000 copies of this pressing were made, and so blue vinyl, really cool. Yeah, great album. The music's awesome on this, and the album cover, though, is just fantastic. I mean, look at that cover. There's so much happening. So, yeah. So that's my pick. Aoxomoxoa from the Grateful Dead. And Tara's going to lead us off with the next one.
Yeah. Well, speaking of having a laugh with a cover, this one, I love this one. Because at first glance, you're just thinking, oh my god, is that a tongue going into an arse? And then you open it up, it's like, haha, no.
We were going to reenact that cover for you, but we decided that we would wait till another time.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's a really attractive cover. The way the art is done is just so kind of crisp, and it just draws you to it, which is fantastic because this is a great album for anyone to get into anyway. Yeah, I love how you're just looking at it thinking, oh, what's that about? And then boom. And the way it opens this way too, it's just so odd.
Yeah.
And it amuses me so much because I'm a big child.
Isn't she great? Isn't she just, come here. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, next up for me, we're going to go into the metal territory here. Megadeth, rest in peace. Not only is it one of the greatest thrash metal albums ever made, but you got Vic Rattlehead sitting in an office with other doctors and such, and well, you can't see it because of the Capitol sticker, but he's actually working on an alien here. There's an alien in this tube, and who knows what they're about to do. They could be unleashing the alien onto the world, and that's what's been happening since 1990 when this came out. But a fantastic album. Even the back of just the four dudes looking pissed off as all hell. Just brilliant. And my gosh, Marty Friedman. Oh my God. But the album cover is absolutely brilliant. Vic holding up this green diamond or whatever it is. And just a brilliant cover. I mean, even the definition on the guys' faces was so ahead of its time for 1990, and all of their covers are so like elaborate like this. Like Peace Sells is another one. I could have chose that, but
no, that one is a very good one.
Yeah, it's a fantastic album too. Woo! Oh, all
right. So I love when there's a good story behind a cover, and so I pulled out the Morrison Hotel because the lads, they went to get a picture at the Morrison Hotel. And the receptionist said, no, you're not coming in here and taking a picture. So they just kind of walked out, and the manager looked back in and saw the receptionist getting into the elevator, and he said to the lads, quick, run in quick and stand at the window, and they got the picture. I love that. And then they went into this place afterwards, and Jim Morrison got absolutely twisted, and all the owl fellas at the bar loved him. So yeah, great little story, but like look at their faces, they're like, quick, get the picture before your man comes back, come on, like.
And Jim looks so majestic though at the same time, right?
Yeah, they all look pure chill, but yeah, I love that little story behind it. Brilliant.
That reminds me of the story of the Rick Wakeman cover of the Six Wives.
Yeah, the Six Wives when he's in Madame Tussauds in London, and he just walks past and he's like, quick, get the picture.
and he's covering up one of the statues.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Where'd it go? I was going to mention, I'll just come to it later. Never mind, don't worry about it. So I'm gonna go for Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Fantastic album. I could do a whole video talking about how much I love the music on this album, but we're just talking about the covers today. And it's just absolutely brilliant. The whole triple gatefold is fantastic. The way it opens up, sorry Tara, maybe you hold one side of it there. The way it opens up inside with all the lyrics and the pictures, that kind of coincide with the songs.
Yeah.
It's all part of the immersive experience, right? And so I remember being a kid and first getting, I had another copy of it, and getting this record when I was like 14, 15. Actually, my buddy Ryan ripped it off of his mom, and he's like, if you can get me a Motley Crue record, I'll give you my mom's Elton John.
Yeah.
But yeah, so listening to this and hearing Funeral for a Friend and stuff at the time, it's just one of those, it's just totally mind-blowing. This album is fantastic, and the records in this pressing are picture discs. Pretty cool. This is not the one I play, this is just like a collector's piece that I have. Limited edition, came out a couple years ago. But really sweet, and yes, so I adore this record, and I actually have a tracing that I've done of this album. It's not in this cover, but I did a tracing of it when I was like 15.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Lovely.
Yeah, anyway, so this is my pick, and Tara's going to move forward with the next one.
Okay. This is one that just kind of had a big impact on me when I was a kid, when I first saw it. And, it was my first experience with, like, an interactive record as well. Now, I'm just trying to find your man's face, or your man's name again, because I've forgotten it. Well, he was a great Kingston man. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
He went to Kingston Art College. Kingston is where I was born.
Ooh, Kingston, Ontario.
Kingston upon Thames. And yeah, it's just a fantastic one. I mean, like that little wheel on the inside that you can interact with. I remember just being a kid, and the music I hadn't a clue about, like, and I would sit there spinning the wheel the whole time. Wow! And it was this that inspired me to get into art. I was always into art, and I wanted to pursue it and go to college. And I remember saying, because of this, I wanted to go to Kingston Art College, because that's where this guy went.
No, that's awesome.
But that never happened, so.
Well, that's great, and that's an awesome album.
It's a beautiful cover, and it's so unique, and it's very Led Zeppelin, you know. It's very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. This next one has already been covered. I've got, that's my record too, but this is, I've got the CD, DVD set of Jethro Tull's Thick as a Brick. I've talked at length about this album on the channel here, and she said so much that I could, not really, you kind of just covered it with this, right? Sure. But it's cool how they replicated it for the CD edition too, with this box set, because you got the whole newspaper in the CD set as well. And a really cool, awesome pictures of the band inside. And you even get the surround sound mix on DVD. But yeah, just awesome album. Great cover. And I love the way that the original vinyl opens up like a newspaper, like Tara showed us before.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you think, because you'd always see on like old English television shows the father of the family sitting at the table with a big newspaper like that. It was just spot on, like.
Oh yeah.
Legends. Okay, so this one is iconic. Like, I mean, everyone knows this cover. H.R. Geiger, who did Alien, and so he creates this incredible cover for Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, that's the poster. That's the poster falling out.
The poster.
Yeah.
The Vaseline lens.
I'll open it up.
But he based the woman in here on his girlfriend at the time, who actually is no longer with us, unfortunately. But because the lads were a bit dirty, there was like a little bit of something there. Have you
Open
ever seen that? No, have you ever seen this? Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
So, yeah, we all know Greg Lake was a bit of a, how do I say this, PG?
Sexual dude.
Yeah, a bit of a dirty dog. And he wanted there to be a certain male body part here coming up under her chin. And they had to like blur it out, but you can still see it right there.
Still, you turn him on.
Disgusting.
It looked more like a vagina to me, but hey.
Oh, an incredible cover though. Love that.
All right, so can I have a good look at that?
Yeah, of course you can.
That is a vulva, my friends.
No, it's not. That's a knob.
Oh, it is. It's the bottom. Oh my god, it's the bottom of a knob. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, you're right. Whoo, man. Okay, that's cool. And that's a great album, too. As many drummers will tell you, that is a fantastic record. Thanks for choosing that.
Yeah, I know.
That's one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah, me too.
It's first time you hear that as a kid, getting into prog rock, and you hear all that insanity of the Carnival 9 thing, it's just... God, I just can't. Alright, so this is probably the newest album on this list. It came out this year, and it is so far my favorite album, probably of the year. It's up there with Whom Gods Destroy and the upcoming Dream Theater record. It's not
it's not even out yet, but we love it already.
Oh, I know. This is from a band called Big Big Train. And immediately when you put this on, and you listen to the music, and you look at the cover, it is kind of like listening to a modern 70s Genesis album.
Yeah.
In the most complimentary way. It doesn't sound derivative. You can just tell, like, when you hear the 12-string guitars, and like you look at like the style of art.
Yeah.
That they were definitely listening to Selling England by the Pound at the time. And it totally just makes me love it even more. I mean, they're drawn in the same art style that the Lawnmower and the Girl Sleeping on the Bench on the Genesis album are done, and it just, as a Genesis fan, that makes me even more attracted to this record. And the music is just absolutely fantastic on this. You got Nick DiVirgilio on drums. He's actually on the new Mr. Big album too, that we just got in today. But Greg Spotton on bass, Alberto Braven on vocals, R.I.P. David Longden. Yeah, the album cover is just awesome. And it's just like a sunny day, like just being young and playing with your friends, right?
The art style is very like a vintage kind of storybook as well.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you that feeling of freedom that you had when you were a kid, like, you know.
Yeah, and the music has that too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it just goes so well with it.
The first time Tara ever heard a song from this album was when I was doing my show on Prague Radio every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern. A long time ago. This was probably back in March. And remember, I played
You played the epic off it, didn't you?
Yeah, Beneath the Masts. And you texted me after and you go, well, I'm in tears now. That was so beautiful.
It was fab.
It is fabulous. And so I sent her a copy of this album on her birthday. And
Yeah.
so now... Yeah, but a fantastic album and great cover.
Mm-hmm.
I went on too long. You go.
Now this is, I love this cover.
Oh, God, yes.
So, In the Wake of Poseidon by King Crimson, and the cover is the 12 archetypes, which are the 12 personality types. And
I've got all 12 of them.
you kind of try and match each song up with one or two of the archetypes, which is absolutely awesome. Totally interactive experience again. And the art style of this is very, it reminds me of at home. We had like a lot of art and like arts festivals that used to happen when I was a kid. My dad used to work for a company called Gallo Glass, and they used to put on a lot of artsy stuff. And this kind of art style just reminds me of of all those artists from home. And my best friend Mia Carney is an artist, and this very much reminds me of her style. And I love that kind of that feel to it. It's like a rustic kind of feel to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, it does.
But yeah, I mean, I study marketing, and we look into like the 12 archetypes quite a lot because personality comes into customer profiles all the time. So when I heard this album and I was looking at the art and everything, it just blew my mind. And I actually use it in my studies quite often, so thanks for that, lads.
Right on. Okay, so my next choice kind of coincides with a thing that you have too. It's the Marillion.
Okay, will I just pull them all out now and we can just chat about them together?
We'll do these together, yeah.
Okay.
So we've got, well, I've chosen Script for a Jester's Tear.
I kind of cheated, didn't I?
Yeah. You're giving out to me about cheating. What the hell?
I just said, look, I can't pull out one from this series because they all go together. So I just wrote down on my list the Fish series. Yeah, so you have Script first, and you have Fugazi. I can't hold them all up. Oh, you have them all there, grand.
That's why I pulled these all out.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I want the vinyl. Like,
no,
okay.
I prefer the vinyl though because it's bigger and you can actually see all the little details a lot better.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, Mark Wilkinson is an absolute genius, and he created these covers to go with the stories in the albums, and he did the best job ever.
Yeah.
It was so funny when I went to art college and we had to do presentations and everyone was getting up talking about like fashion and like Leonardo da Vinci and all, and I was like, oh no, let me show you something that you've never seen before and I can guarantee. And I got up, I said, this guy, Mark Wilkinson, and I did a whole presentation on this series of artwork. And it was just, I blew everyone's mind. I don't care, I'm going to say it. Like, they were all just looking at me like, wow, that's incredible. But yeah, it's I'm always talking about this on my channel, so I won't go on too much. But incredible. I want this blown up on a giant canvas and hung up on my wall. I absolutely love it.
I can arrange that.
Incredible, like just
Yeah, absolutely. And so this was my pick, Script for a Jester's Tear, because there's so much, like, even if you don't like the album, the cover is so brilliant. And, there's so many little nuggets on this cover that would kind of lead to the next album, Fugazi, which kind of leads to this album. Sorry, Fugazi. I'm Canadian, eh? We're allowed to say things wrong here. It's a free country.
No, it's not.
That's a topic for another time, folks. But I love this. You can even see like the little cigarette butts and the burnt sort of like this crumpled up page of music from the violin that he's playing, and if you flip it over, you can see the little turntable, which is kind of like, remember that picture of Sid Barrett with him sitting there with the turntable, and he's kind of looking like,
yeah,
with like the dark eyes and stuff.
Picture.
It is a sad picture, but this turntable looks a lot like that. And there's a Pink Floyd album right next to it. The Saucer Full of... You can't really see it, but the Saucer Full of Secrets is laying on the floor there, next to a couple of Marillion singles. And there's Marillion posters up on the wall, which is just... It's really cool. It's really cool, and like the bed, like you can even see like...
Well, it's a bed sit in London, so they have there's a lot of little flats in London called bed sits, and that's what they look like, and you know, that's where you're living when you're not in a good place.
Yeah.
Because they're cheap to live in. And this guy, he's still enthusiastic, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna try and make the most of life and all, even though I'm not in a great place, you know. Scrape for Jester's Tear, he's obviously just been broken up with by the love of his life. But if you look at the front, he's still trying to pursue what he wants to do, like.
You can see he's crying too at the same time.
He's crying, but he still wants to kind of go on with stuff. And then you go into Fugazi, and he's dishevelled. He's lying in bed. You can see the colour draining from, and he's holding a glass of wine. This is a reference to the She Chameleon that's on the album. And you can see the Jester costumes being stripped off of him, but it's still there in the mirror, so it's still in his personality, but he's losing himself, like.
Yeah, and then that's a gradual process for the next couple albums.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you see him clutching at straws. I mean, look, misplaced childhood, goes into his childhood and all that stuff, but you go on to clutching at straws, then he's standing in a pub, and the Jester costume is tucked away in his pocket, because he's just done with it, like. And alcoholism has just kind of consumed him.
Yeah, that's very... Yeah. Did you ever notice that the pillow is also a skull?
Oh, yeah.
I just noticed that now.
It's meant to be him lying in bed with depression, I'd say.
That's pretty cool,
his skull has actually imprinted into the pillow, yeah.
I never noticed that
and
before.
And he's watching Punch and Judy on the telly. Depressing. Love that.
Okay, so I guess it's your turn. That was kind of my turn, but that was kind of a dual turn.
Our turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is this is my favorite Roger Dean. I don't care. A lot of people think it's very grey and colourless, but I think he just kind of captured the essence of the album very well in it. Yeah, there's no colour or anything, but I mean, it's literally like you have Sound Chaser, which is really intense, and The Gates of Delirium is all about a battle. You have like the knights and stuff running along here, heading into battle, and it just, that kind of coldness works so well. It's a gorgeous album though. Oh
it is. God. It's a masterpiece album.
Absolutely beautiful piece of art.
You got the little Canadian flag up there. Sorry.
I feel like it just kind of goes so perfectly with the album. I get that he had a lot nicer pieces of art, like Drama is a brilliant one. I love the cat silhouettes running along and that and everything, but this is just so intricate and gorgeous. And it's probably because I'm so depressed and I love like bleak colours.
No, I'm not depressed.
But I think it's unreal, like.
It is.
Absolutely incredible.
I'll tell you this, my dad's not depressed, and that's one of his favorite Yes albums, and I actually got him this piece of art a couple years ago for Christmas, and it's that gatefold, but without, like, it doesn't say Yes or on anything on it, it's just the artwork with the knights and all that, and the double gatefold. Beautiful. I know you are. So this next album cover is such a badass cover. It's there's so much to be said about this album cover and how it mixes. Like, it sounds like the album.
Yeah.
And it's heaven and hell. The cigarette is the hell, and the angels with wings are the heaven. Mm-hmm. And it is just amazing. And even the back with them drawn on the cover. This is the first album that they did with Ronnie James Dio. And with them drawn on the back cover like this, it's just fantastic. But this is so like the angels even have like little halos above their heads, if you look close, but they're all puffing on cigarettes, and they're playing poker and cards. They're playing card games and stuff. So it's like, yeah, just super cool, and it is super defined too. Like you can see like even the creases in their outfits and stuff, and just really fantastic. And the album is just, well, the album. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
I love how the back of it is very reminiscent of the cover of "Long Live Rock and Roll" by Rainbow as well.
And that was probably
it's a little nod to that period in Ronnie James Dio's career. Like
I hadn't thought of that, but that was probably Dio poking something at Richie because well, they weren't on the best of terms when he left the band.
Yeah,
and that wouldn't have been Dio's doing because he is pretty well known to be a very nice guy. And Richie is well, amazing guitar player.
Richie had a thing with reinvention, didn't he? He liked to kind of move on from stuff and change everything around him. A bit like Miles Davis used to do on each album, like just change everything about his life. And I'd say it was definitely not any malignance towards Dio, like. He was just going through a different phase, like.
And I guess they probably didn't have any problems. I don't know, but this cover, and yeah, that's a great connection to make between Rainbow and Sabbath. This cover, like you hear the songs and you can see the cover in your head. Of course, the songs paint images on their own, but like this is just so telling of the actual album and the music. It's just great.
Yeah. Okay, I'm always going on about this album, aren't I?
Oh yeah.
Warrior on the Edge of Time.
This is awesome.
It folds out like this, which Hawkwind did with a few of their albums. So it's a mirrored piece here, and then you turn it around and it's actually a shield.
Oh, that's amazing.
You can see here it says Chaos on it.
That is so cool.
It's an absolute. It's literally one of the most incredible albums I've ever heard in my entire life. Based off of one of Michael Moorcock's science fiction books, and he's actually on the album singing and doing his spoken word thing, and just loads of Hawkwind fans say that they aren't prog. Listen to this and I will tell you now, this is one of the most proggy albums out there.
And Lemmy being on it makes it sound more like Motorhead.
Well, there is a song on it called Motorhead.
Yeah.
And that's where he got the name of the band from. So
it's that overdriven bass, right? As soon as you hear that, no matter what, it's like, oh, that's Lemmy.
There he is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's one of my, again, like this interactive experience, you know. I mean, imagine the first time you ever listened to this album and just opening it up and oh my god, look at this. Like, that is just amazing.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I've only listened to a couple cuts from that album, but she opened it up. This is actually, if you watch Spin in Prague, her YouTube channel, which you should, go and subscribe to that channel. So we did a collective video the other day of records that she recently acquired, and that she talks about it in that video too. So, yeah,
and
nice.
many other videos.
And many other videos, yeah. Next up for me is Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time. Now, they used to work with Mark Wilkinson, the guy who did the Marillion covers, but he didn't do this cover, but there is a connection, sort of, right? Both British bands in the 80s. But Iron Maiden, to me, is just on... These guys are on their own plane, and this cover, I could have gone with so many. I could have gone with Killers, you know, with the axe and the blood dripping. But this one, there's just so many nuggets. We were talking about this before we came on, and we were talking about just all the nuggets and everything that's going on in this. Like, if you look, you can see Acacia up here, so it's like 22 Acacia Avenue ties in with their song. Eddie Lives, obviously it says Iron Maiden here. That's a bit more, you know. If you flip it over, there's so much more. There's the band standing here. There's a big record store here. And it says Phantom Opera House there. And it says Aces High Bar up here with an ace on top. And there's just so many like little things that connected to Iron Maiden, like Long Beach Arena, where they had just famously played for the Live After Death album, which is mentioned down here. It's all over the cover. And so It is. This is just one of my absolute favorite album covers. It is just. It's beautiful. It's pleasant, and it is so occupying and satisfying to look at. You can look at it, especially as a diehard Maiden fan like me. You can go and, oh yeah, that's the venue that they played, and that's the name of this song, and this, and it's all over. She was picking out stuff that I hadn't even noticed before, and I've spent some considerable time with this cover. So, Iron Maiden, 1986. If you don't like this album, that's a you problem. Have you heard this one?
I haven't listened to it the whole way through, no.
Well, we'll change that.
This is my last one now. Okay, so Trespass by Genesis. Paul Whitehead, the man, the myth, the legend. So it's meant to be like an old-fashioned kind of fairy tale book, and when the guys saw it, they just felt like the vibe was off. Like it wasn't suitable for the album. So Paul goes and gets a dagger and just sticks it into the canvas and drags it along through it, and oh my god, like what a little tiny detail to add in that just completely changes the whole vibe of the cover.
Yeah, it's
because
true.
It's all, you know, you're looking at this thinking, oh nice, a little fairy tale, and
Pastoral.
then this just adds that sinister kind of feeling behind it. And obviously there's the song The Knife, which is why he used this little dagger here, but I just, like I said, it was such a little subtle detail to do that just absolutely completely made it perfect for the album.
Yeah.
Now I could have pulled out any of his works, to be honest, like including the other Genesis stuff or the stuff he did with Van der Graaf Generator, but it was just such I can't get over how much of a small move it was to create such an iconic piece of art. Like, absolute genius. But yeah, those are all my picks done anyway.
Well, I think I might have overcalculated because I pulled out one extra, but I'll put it as an honorable mention. Speaking of Genesis, my favorite band of all time, great introduction into, you know, the guitar player even drew on this one for me, Steve Hackett. Amazing, great album cover. You got the ever so iconic Fox's head in the red. You got the fox in the red dress as a homage to the Nursery Crime album with the song "Musical Box," which came before this, 1971. This is 1972. A huge leap in the right direction for the band. This is definitely very connected to the album before it, but it is a huge jump in the same time. And you know, you got the dudes on the horses here with this beautiful water. It is so, everything is so well defined on this, and it's just this art style. You know, is very similar to Big Train, right?
Yeah.
Just fantastic, and it's one of the best albums ever made. And you got the cool gatefold inside. Not much going on inside. You got the lyrics and stuff. You got the pictures of the guys in the band, and plus the manager.
Well, the view on the inside always reminded me of, like, do you know the way Watcher of the Skies is about like aliens coming to Earth?
Oh.
And that looks like the view from the windscreen of like a spaceship or something to me.
It does. It looks like you're coming up from like an airplane or something,
well,
right?
I mean, look, you have all space up the top, and it looks like it's like a view from like glasses or something.
A view from the top of the world. Like the Dream Theater reference. Anyway, great cover. It's iconic, and you know Peter would go out and dress as the, you know, in the fox's head with the red dress.
Your 6 saintly shrouded men there and everything like.
Yep, and even back further somewhere here, you got the little girl playing crochet with the heads from the Nursery Crime record. Croquet. Oh my gosh, did I say crochet?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Croquet. Y'all knew what I meant. She's got the mallet and the little heads. She's playing a game of croquet. Thank you. And yeah, so that's
one of the lads is an alien as well.
Yeah. And so that's a great
Brilliant.
little nugget to what was before.
Yeah.
And then obviously on the next album they totally just wiped off the canvas. Like, okay, we're not doing this connected thing. They could have, and it would have been really cool, but they just went for something totally different. But yeah, Foxtrot, amazing album, and the cover is just totally fantastic. You look, if you've never heard this, well, I've heard this so many times that I don't know what you would think if you looked at this and didn't hear it.
I don't remember what life was like before Foxtrot.
No. it's such a unique. It's very English. It's brilliant. And next up for me, well, I was gonna do honorable mention. I was gonna do Anthrax. This guy, he's on a hospital table with a guy in a gas mask about to do some intense work on him, and he's like screaming like, no, gosh, spreading the disease, right? So he's about to infect him with some whatever he's got. He's gonna put him into a madhouse. It's a madhouse. Great record, by the way. You can even see like the definitive, like in the soles in his shoes here, like on the bottom. You can see like the little, the little everything, the traction. Fantastic. But my last pick, it has to be Alice Cooper. This lovely lady and I are going to see Alice Cooper in a couple weeks, and this is just a fantastic album. And I love the little die cuts on this. So you open it up. And so this album, basically, it's about Alice and his stay in the mental hospital when he was drying up from alcohol. The first time. So, luckily the second time was the charm for him, thank God. He's been clean ever since. But this was the first time that he had gone into rehab, and they had put him in a mental hospital. And so you can just see, like, this is kind of like the waiting room. You know, there's just a lot going on, different conversations. And if you open it up, you go into the quiet room. You remember that song, The Quiet Room? Oh my gosh. You open it up and there's Alice sitting there in a padded room. You're sitting in a padded room, right? Like a white room where you can't see nothing. You're just there by yourself, getting it all out.
Isolation,
that's right. And so you close it up and you go in the back and you get the songs and all that. It's produced by David Foster, actually, the guy who did all that stuff to Chicago in the 80s. But the lyrics were written by Alice Cooper and Bernie Taupin. Elton John's band plays on this as well. You open this up in the back and it's like freedom.
Amazing.
And they're all running out of the mental hospital.
Brilliant.
And they're all breaking out. So we're going to see Alice in a couple weeks. Are you excited for that?
I can't wait. I've wanted to see him since I was about 10 years old, because I knew it was this big theatric show, and I've been into theatre for as long as I can remember. And when I heard that his shows are like this big elaborate production, I was like, oh my god, I would love to go and see him. And we're going. Yay!
Well, like and subscribe, leave comments, all that fun stuff. Tell us your 10 favorite album covers, or even just the 10 album covers that you think are just epic or beautiful or dark or whatever you got in your head. Tell us, because we want to hear from you. Keep it PG, keep it respectful. We love you. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time right here on Brockways Vinyl Bites. And don't forget to rock on! Ciao.